Hey guys, welcome to Rad Tech Reviews. My name's Kyle, and we're going to be jumping back into the shark genre with Sharkbait. Sharkbait Ooh-Ha-Ha, which is a Tubi original. Came out, I think, last year. And let's get into it. So if you're liking what you see, go ahead and like and subscribe. Comment down below with your own thoughts and everything. So like I said, this is a Tubi original. And I didn't really expect much from it, but I was actually really surprised with how much I enjoyed this movie. Not too original in terms of other stuff we've seen. You know, you end up with a group of people stranded out in the middle of the water. This is in all kinds of shark movies these days. Sometimes that's really all you can do with it. It's hard to be original in the shark genre. Yeah, you have these college-age kids. They're out of the country for spring break, and before going back they decide to kind of, I guess, steal these sea-doos, and they drive them off way too far out into the middle of the ocean. End up getting into an accident with each other, stranding themselves out there, so they're just kind of floating along, and as you can imagine, they're being hunted at the same time because they're just out in the middle of the water. One thing they do, this is something you see a lot these days, especially when there's going to be characters dying, is you always have the asshole boyfriend. They always want to set him up as kind of a douche so that when they die, people won't care, or the people will want them to die. For some reason, it's like the writers want to kind of make it easier on the audience for character deaths. So of course you have the asshole boyfriend who cheated on our main girl with the friend. You know, like we haven't seen that before. But I did really like the main girl. She's probably definitely the best character. Everybody else is pretty forgettable. So once you get out into the main water, for some reason there's also this scene at the beginning where they like give a homeless man trouble that's also an amputee. For no reason. It doesn't pay into the rest of the film at all, unless it's just about karma or something. I don't know. That didn't really make any sense as to why that needed to be written into the story, but all it did was affirm that our main girl is a nice person you can root for, and then the other people are kind of assholes. So anyways, getting into spoilers a little bit then. So they steal these sea-doos. They just make a whole bunch of bad decisions, so they kind of deserved everything they got as far as movie logic goes. They ride them way off, far away from the mainland. You can't even see anything with how far out they go with these things. They get into an accident, they break one of their friend's legs, so he's kind of stuck, which that's the first highlight that I didn't expect that I want to talk about, is the gore was actually pretty solid. This kid's broken leg was pretty gnarly with the way the bone and everything was sticking out. I dug that a lot. So then naturally he's the first one that dies because he's bleeding everywhere. Then you have your second terrible character decision besides stealing the CDs in the first place. Decision number 2 is the black guy, I can't remember his name, decides he's just gonna swim for it because they saw a boat at some point. If he had something you could see on the skyline to actually swim for, I would totally understand taking your chance, you know, why not? But he takes off towards literally nothing. You can't see anything out in the middle of the open sky. But to his credit, he does find the damn boat that he was looking for. Of course, he was not quick enough because he got chomped up right before he made it there, which is unfortunate. So once he got towards the boat, I was like, oh wow, I'm actually impressed that he made it that far. So then we're left with our main girl and the 2 assholes that cheated on her behind her back, and they kind of just drift along for a long time. I do like that they showed that these characters are trying to use their brain to get out of their situation. You know, the CD's not working, so they're like, well, let's open it up. Let's use the phone as a kind of a reflector. They're trying to get people's attention way back on shore or something. So, which that's the other thing about the phone. they dropped that phone deep underwater and swam down and get in. For some reason, that thing still works. I don't know what kind of protection plan they have, but I would love to. I would pay $100 if I could have that kind of service. Then the main girl, the friend, she gets eaten up in half, and you don't see a whole lot of it, but the way it happens is pretty intense, so I like that. And then the boyfriend gets chomped on a little bit, and he ends up, you know, we've seen this before. It's happened in Shark Night, which I just watched a week ago, that somebody throws themselves off just to try to save the other person. So he did redeem himself a little bit, so I did feel kind of bad when he died. And the shark, I think the main positive about this one is it knows it doesn't have the best budget as far as the shark stuff, and I thought they did a really good job at making the shark, like, kind of overlaying actual shark footage to make it feel real without just going 100% CGI where it would look like trash. Now, some of the CGI towards the last 15 minutes or so definitely didn't look great, but by then I was okay with it because I was impressed enough by what else they had done. So a lot of the underwater stuff with the shark and everything the tension was actually really good. And so in the end, our girls, they finally get the Sea-Doo fixed. She's able to use part of a life jacket to kind of connect one of the tubes back for the fuel line and everything, and she blasts that thing off back towards the shore, but somehow this shark is fast enough that it caught up to this thing when it's going like 30, 40 miles an hour. But I know sharks are fast. I don't know if they're that fast. And then we just assumed she made it. I mean, where she ends up, you don't see anything else, so you have no idea if the spot of land she made it onto is actual land with other people, or if she's still out in the middle of the ocean on just kind of a sandbar. But we'll assume she got out alive. So yeah, all in all, I thought this was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I think over on Letterboxd, I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. So I was pretty impressed. I'll definitely watch it again in the future, probably for future Shark Week viewings. So yeah, check it out. In the description, you can follow my Letterboxd or follow me on Twitter if you want to chat. And that's about it. Have a good day.